Welcome to the Central Film School podcast, where we explore the craft, careers, and creative journeys shaping today's screen industries. In this episode, we're shifting focus from large-scale production to the more intimate and often invisible craft of storytelling in the edit, and the unique challenges of documentary filmmaking. I'm joined by Leila Shalkouhi, better known as Hakim, an editor and filmmaker whose work explores narrative form and the process of shaping real-world stories into compelling films. In our conversation, we'll talk about editing as a creative practice, how stories are discovered in the edit, and what it means to develop your own voice as a filmmaker. Elle, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
How was that introduction? Was that accurate?
No, that was good. Thank you very much.
It's wonderful to have you here, and obviously you've been with us as a tutor at Central Film School, I think, for about 1.5 years now.
Yes.
Working across primarily editing and documentary within the school, but also in some other areas as well. We recently did a profile of you on our LinkedIn, which was very well engaged with.
Thank you.
And so it's a real pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So just to start off, I suppose I've done a little bit of an introduction, but I'm going to hand it over to you. I suppose it would be great to hear about what your focus is as a storyteller, and if you could describe your craft to us. Are you an editor? Are you a filmmaker? Are you a visual storyteller? How do you see yourself?
I see myself from 0 to 100 doing the job. Basically, we call it like a person who do the job. So if you want just on board 100% from like shooting till delivery, pre-production, and the production, and then post-production. And I really like it. I really enjoy it. And then I find myself to have a very big eager to have documentary, and also later on like a little bit move into like expressing idea into activism and like activist, and have those through arts. And but if I want to say like choose one area, I can't. Like I know it's a little bit confusing during the time, but I know that when you come into industry, you should know at least all the stages. And then, you can decide which one you are moving forward to it. I know what I hate in these stages. Like, I hate to be assistant director. I hate it.
That's a really important thing to know, the blacklist.
Yeah. I know my red flags.
Yeah.
And the other things that comes, it's a bless.
Well, it's about finding the right place, right?
Yeah.
And I think, I love the way that you talk about, it's something that we speak to our students about a lot. I think like that idea of that I only do one thing, that's really breaking down, and people have portfolio careers, and actually the skill sets that students need are really broad. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like that's the way the industry is moving anyway.
If you know what you don't like, it will lead into what you like the most. Yeah. And it will lead you to some projects that you should be able to do that by your own. And the thing is, when I am on the set, and suddenly the supervisor came and said, "Oh, it's not possible." I'm like, "No, it's possible. Like, don't fool me. Like, you should do it, because I know that it's possible to do." So and I've been in situation that I was DOP and my camera like said, "Oh, we can't get God view like in this scene." I was like, "No, you can. If you can't, I can do it now." So those type of things will give you the ability to know exactly what you can do, and if you know post-production, you will not trust the person that say we will fix it in post. I hate that sentence. I'm like, if we can do it now, just do it here. Because in post-production, come on, budget, time, like I should deliver it. Like it's not possible. Everything is like near everything is possible in post-production. We can trick people. But I know that for sure it will take more time, but the delivery time is like limited, and so all these kind of type of things, if you know all the areas, then you have less mistakes. It's impossible to have not mistakes in production, not mistakes in... That's a very utopian kind of overview. Oh, it was very successful. We never encountered any problems. Like, we don't have such a thing.
I've never heard a student say every single thing on that shoot went perfectly. That's never happened.
It will never. Not even in students. Like even in professional. Like, they are always hitting themselves. Like during they get nosebleeds. Like sometimes. But the thing is, you minimize the mistake, and that's to lead forward into having a peaceful moment after all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's my argument when I were studying here. My professor was, oh yeah, and then you don't have any problem, then you don't have any mistake, and I was like, where we just not detached from reality. We should be real. There is always mistakes, and there is always even professionals, they do mistakes. So we shouldn't encourage everyone to be perfect. It's impossible to be perfect.
That's very good advice. Okay, so thank you so much for that. And as I was saying, great to hear that you work across the board and have that overarching view. If we could go back a little bit, I'd love to hear a bit about what first drew you to visual storytelling and how you moved into it, as much as you'd like to tell us.
Oh my God. It will take a long time if I want to explain everything. But do you know, everyone start with, oh, I'm born in a very poor family. Me too. But the thing is, it was not a problem. Being poor was not a problem in my point of view at that time. I born in a religious family. That was a problem for me, rather than to be poor. And it was after war between Iran and Iraq, they had a war, and then I born suddenly in the middle of nowhere. And so my father recently got a job on that time, and in their workplace they had a big camera. It was those type of camera. I think it was Sony, that you put it on your shoulder and you zoom in and zoom out. So those type of thing. And I was 5, and my father bring the camera home, and we had a very, very small TV. And my father, I just saw a black box, and I was wondering, what is that black box? And my father wired up to the TV, and suddenly it's turned on, and I saw myself in the TV. And then my brother started screaming, TV is showing you, everyone is watching you. And I was like, what is that? How that's possible? I was like, everyone is looking at me now. I thought that all the population of Iran is not watching. And my father was like, no, it's only in that. This is camera. And then I fall in love with it. Wow. And I was like, oh, so whatever I imagine, I can put it there. I just need something to put it there. And then I started asking questions. I was a child. And then my father said, yeah, it's cinema, it's camera. And I was talking about it. But my father was a philosopher. So it was and then he moved into be a sociologist. And now he has PhD in it. But the thing is, it was education. It was in university. And that camera is from that university. Yeah. And then was oh, cinema, it's very, I want to be in it. I want to be an artist. Then my father said oh, no, it's not for women. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, you can't do it because you're a woman. And that was the first, when the theory and reality collapsed. And you are oh, really? I was like, yeah, it's not for women. But this is a cool thing that you can't have it. But this is very cool. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So then later on, at the age of 17, I was like, okay, let's try it out. We have one central theater in our province. So I went there and I just look at people. And I see so many people come to one person, and he was actually a producer. So I went there fully woman.
Always the most popular person in the room, the producer.
Yeah. I was like, let's go and meet him.
Yeah.
And speak about that. Maybe I've got a chance, and just not tell it to my family at all, not bring it up. So I went and I talked with the man, and I was like, I don't want to say names because
That's
it's
fine.
a little bit. And then I said like, yeah, I want to be on camera. And he was like, sorry? I was like, how can I be on camera? Like, I really want to start. If you have any projects, anything that I can be included in it. I was like, camera? You're a woman. And I was like, yeah, but you can be an assistant of director. But I should talk with the director if director likes you. Maybe that's why I hate it.
Exactly. Triggered.
Yeah. I was like, maybe you can be like assistant of a director, but we should know if director likes you. What should I do now? I plan to start to hate the longness of my hair. And I was like yapping. I was like, I want to cut my hair because the only thing I should be a man. So I was like, okay, I will cut my hair. I will do all the planning to be a man. I will do all the fake documents and I will go on set. I don't care. So I went to the hairdresser. I cut my hair. I came home very sad. I was like, look, Mom, what they did to my hair. I just saved like 2 inches and I cried a lot. Like I act like if I am a good actor.
I was about to say a lot of performance.
I cried for a day for just saying that I'm so unhappy. And my mom suddenly said, oh, it's fine. Like, it will grow. Don't worry. It's fine. You will look beautiful. You are still look good. Like, you will get married. Don't worry. I was like, okay. And then I used my brother's clothes. And the thing is, my brother is always on my side. That's a good thing. It was blessed in my story lifetime. My brother was always on my side. He knows all the corruption I've done in my life. So I really thank him because he was the only man on that time was like always say, that's you, go for it. You can do it. Like, I will back up you. I will cover you up. So I get my brother clothes and everything. And I went out first day as a man. So it was just wearing, we have some chador thing, so we put on. So I get it. It was all men and stuff. I went to Ali. It was very stressful. I just put it in my bag and it was like, oh my God, now I feel the air coming through my hair. And it was like, oh my God, if somebody is watching me, I was like, and at that time I thought that being a man is easy. Like, you go out, you act dirty, you will insult everyone, and now you're a man. But it's very hard. Being a man is very hard. Like, I thought that, okay, I open my leg, I do this, I spit on the streets and everyone, and now I'm a man. It was very hard. It was very hard. I had a very hard time being a man.
But so just thank you so much for talking. So just for some sort of clarity on that. So it's so interesting to hear you say the lengths that you went to create art. I've got some friends who are actors and things like that, and they always say to me, like a friend who's an actor, and she says, I couldn't do anything else. This is all I can do, and so by hook or by crook I have to do it. And the way that you're telling the story is like it's the unstoppable drive to creativity, and obviously with the challenges that you faced in where you were living, in the context you were in, like these are such extreme lengths. It's incredible. So to what extent did you actually impersonate or become a man in that, like, so you've got the clothes, like, do you have papers that have a male identity? So
the thing is, nobody cared on that time that what you have. So I picked my name. My name was Elias. Oh, and my family name was Hakim. So I had that certificate. And I pretend, like, at that time I was 17, 18. And I pretend I'd be 12, 13, like those type of thing, because I looked like a 13 age boy. And I have my picture.
So sorry, you did an impersonation of a 13-year-old boy to get onto a set as an 18-year-old woman.
Yeah.
That was the depth of your passion and determination to be in that environment.
If I want to die, I want to die in cinema. If I wanted to pick. Like still I'm ongoing, still I'm fighting. But the thing is, that was the only way, at least in my family, in my way of living, in my conditions and in my context. The only possibility to not get sexualized, to not get like uncomfortable situation and condition, not humiliate, and like at least get into some industry position, even if it's just having cables, like and I gathered cables like when I started. So I came again to the same theater. I spoke with the same man, the producer that didn't know me.
Wow.
And I speak to him again, and he didn't recognize me.
Wow.
Not even a second, not even a blink. And I was like, oh,
this works.
Like, you didn't even recognize me. And I get friends with men. And then I start talking. I was like, what you know? I was like, yeah, I really want to be on set, and it's my dream. I want to be. And he said like, okay, tomorrow. And they said like, time, like come to this place. I want to see how you work. And that was the start of my journey through getting into backstage.
Wow. Okay, welcome back to our podcast with Hakim. It's so incredibly exceptional and fascinating to hear your story, and like what thorough commitment to your artistry. I mean, it's just, I can't commend you highly enough, and I'm so happy that you made it over here. So now we're going to move on to talk a little bit about craft. And it was really interesting the way you talked about sort of having technical skills in a way. We talk in the school about what higher education is sort of the conflation of skills and knowledge together. That's a difference between like further education and higher education, because it's about that theory basis, which obviously you came over to the UK to learn. So let's interrogate that a little bit. So I've got a few questions. I'm going to start off with talking about editing and story a little bit. And I suppose this is a combination of like some advice for students and your perspective on it. And of course, there are different approaches to editing, of course, as well. So really interesting to hear about that too. So when you're talking to students, now that you're a teacher, when you're talking to students, what does editing mean beyond cutting footage? How do you define the artistry of editing?
So if someone asked me what is an editor, which I taught like about what is an editor. And when I ask them who is an editor, what you define an editor, they start to bringing up like, cutting, storytelling. And I was like, yeah, but like generally, what is your description of an editor? And I think personally, an editor is a person with knowledge. And what knowledge means. In third cognitive of science, they define knowledge in 4 stages. And I can say how it's related to anything. But let's talk about edit. The first stage is theory. It's when you know as an editor, oh, that's the 180-degree rule. Oh, that calls a continuity. No, that calls this, that calls it. So first stage of knowledge is when you know the capital of Francis Paris, for example, you know, the basic things. That's the theory. The second stage of knowledge is practice. It's the time that when theory and practice collapse. They're like, oh, it's possible or not possible. It's when you know how to edit. That's when you know what is DaVinci Resolve, how I should cut things, how what fading means. I don't know if I fade, how I should fade it, how I should mask it out, how I should. So if you have continuity issue, you know that your first stage is a little bit needs work.
Because you haven't got the theory side.
You didn't get the theory right. The foundation is cracking a little bit. You should learn about it. And when you come into editing and it takes time, it means that you didn't have hands-on practice. The third one is perspectival knowledge. It means that when me and you can sit down and have conversation, it's when I know what's your perspective coming from and what's my perspective coming from. That's when me as an editor who called myself a director as well, because I am going to tell the final story and with the director itself. And we have a healthy conversation. Why you want to use fading in this scene? But you should cut it into black because of this and this. Maybe director perspective is no, I want to release my audience. I should get the idea of what this director perspective comes from. It's when me and you sitting in same class, same teacher, our result of research are very much more different. So what is it that we studied in same Central Film School? We graduate from the same structure, but what you produce is different from my point of view. It's because of my practice of life, my experience.
Yeah, your hinterland.
Yeah, my past is different. So when we come into that knowledge of communicating and getting something done, it means that stage is fun. You are not clashing. You are not hating yourself. You are not punching on the wall in post-production. So you know that, okay, now I'm fine. And the fourth and the final of knowledge in cognitive science, it's at the state of being. And the good example is how far you stand in a person that is in a funeral. Nobody tell you that. Nobody teach you that how you should get the distance from. But the state of being of all this perspective and all this theory and practice and everything, you learn that what is appropriate. What should I do? So the state of being in editing, I call it when you know the brand. It's when you do a magic, like a very good edit for Coca-Cola. You bring it, or for Red Bull. And everyone say, oh my God, you're genius. This is perfect. Red Bull would be crazy. I will fund you £1 million.
Dream meeting.
And then you bring it into Red Bull, and you put it like this film. I wrote it, and this is the shots, and they say it, and they will clap, and they say, "Oh, it's perfect. You are very talented." But I'm sorry, that's not us. So
vibes, basically.
That's not our narratives. That's not us. That's not represent us. It's very beautiful. It's good. You've done the best. Even we have like very lame kind of video coming out, but that's not us. So it's like a state of being. That's when you know the story. You serve for the story. The only mission that you have is telling the story and committed to the story. And if you see something is not aligned with the story, that's the time you should show the raw kind of honesty. And just inform that this is not the story that you want to say. You are now getting far away from the mission and the vision of the story. So if an editor be knowledgeable, know this fourth stage, and really get aligned with that. Just know the rules. They can do something that I can say it will change so many perspectives. That's when even propaganda comes from this type of things. It's just analyze people and everything and say, okay, now I can manipulate in this manner. I can raise up this feeling. I can do with this one. I can make my narratives dominant in this point of view, this side, make
have
it
the effect
believable. So that's the power of post-production and edit, and I like it. I like it very much because that's the type of power that I think in art I never seen any powerful more than cinema. When you combine all arts together and you have something very pure, and you should be precautious about how you want this to be used. You can weaponize art, or you cannot. And that's the choice that you have. The thing is, you, even in documentaries, you tell the story. It's impossible to be not objective, like be complete objective. No, you have some views on that. That's why you, at the first place, you are doing that documentary. But you should be radically open, both sides. If I want to critique any part of my life, if I want to critique my mom, I should see her point of view. Where is she coming from? What is the situation there? Explain it to audience, and then come into my side. Show the audience what is my perspective, what is my contradictions, and then from the whole see what is real here.
Well, so let's actually talk about that. If we move on to talking about documentaries specifically, so you're talking about those two perspectives. So how do you in a practical sense, how do you navigate that balance between reality and storytelling in documentary? Because of documentary in filmmaking is not reportage; it's a different thing. Yeah. So what's your personal approach to that in a practical sense? About there's a story I want to tell, but it's a documentary. It's not narrative fiction.
Yeah, because I work in United Nations, and unfortunately, United Nations in all countries, they work for government, first of all. So when you want to narrate the misery of people in UN, you should take part of government side as well. So it's like, at that time, you're in the middle that, okay, I'm seeing this misery, and you talk with government and they say, no, that's not, like I'm going out and everyone's is happy. That's ideology that detached you from what is real. And how I approached to my field of, like, how I advise based on when you realize you are an artist, not a journalist. You're not a journalist. You get research, but you're not. You are an artist. Yeah. You are not a politician. You are not making policy here. You want to show what is happening. It's when there is Hegel has a very good point of view, a thesis and antithesis. And he argued that if there is a thesis, there should be an antithesis. This is impossible. So you should go, and against your first conclusion and objective, you should attack on yourself. So it's like, be radically open and criticize yourself. No, I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. I should prove that I'm right or not. So the thing is, when I realize the reality is getting filtered. So when I'm in my Instagram, it's algorithm now. Now everything I'm seeing is supporting my ideas. How that possible? When I'm talking to people, now I'm surrounded by people who are just cherishing me and say, oh, you're right. Is it?
Echo chamber.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like, or I should pause. For a second, I should pause and go and be in other side as well. I should be open.
So, yes, absolutely. And I think that's, you're not a politician, you're also not a journalist, you're an artist. But I suppose within documentary, there's always, as we talk to our students, I'm sure you've spoken to our students a lot about ethics being incredibly important because you're dealing with real people, right? To some extent. So like, what's your approach to ensuring, if you're talking about lots of really challenging topics that are within documentary, how do you ensure that actually, it is an ethical approach when you're dealing with real people in the documentaries that you've made before? So the thing is, people think when I'm talking like this, people think that, so we should be neutral. It shouldn't be neutral. It's no such thing. Neutrality doesn't exist. Something like that. Yeah. But the argument is challenging yourself. All the argument is, we know basic human rights. These basic human rights are not going to be challenged by any side. All life matters. So we are trying to know all the perspective, and we can't demand to one person to think exactly the same way that I think. Maybe we
think differently about one perspective, but the ultimate goal is not destructive. We have different perspective and how we see the things. When I come into the sense that I become judgmental too much, like it's in a way that when something happens, I overreact suddenly. After 2 minutes, I'm posting something as a documentary filmmaking, like 2 minutes after, and then it was a fake news. It was not the actual what is happening, like what's come to me, why I'm so judgmental. Like when somebody comes to me and say, oh yeah, do you know what they did? They did this and this. And I say, oh my God, are you serious? And I believe that at first place without getting my research done. I'm agreeing on that moment. And I'm getting angry. Well, okay, let me go home. Let me think about it. Let me learn first. Let me see other perspective. Let me research about it. And then I will see how I feel now and how I can do after. In a right way, not suddenly go and produce something that then it's a machine of propaganda at that time. It's not you. And then the other thing is when I lost the sentence of I don't know. We should learn to say that I don't know.
It's empowering. Yeah,
but here it's look like a weakness. When even you as a teacher, when you say, oh, I don't know. Well, like, I told you, like, doesn't know. But I never feel shame. Like when somebody in a topic that I really Middle East, like I'm boss at that. Like I lived there. I'm in West Asia, but there is still so many things I don't know. And I should learn to say, yeah, you talk about chart. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know. And that doesn't mean that you don't have knowledge. That means that you need to practice the first stage. You have knowledge. That's fine. But it's like, let me time. I really need to have a research about this topic, but we can move into for now, the area that I can come up with you and just talk with you. But yeah, I promise you I will go and learn about it.
Yeah, I think that I think that's at the center of a lot of ethical approach as well. You're dealing with people, like not presuming to know their lives and actually, and centering their voices within documentary and those kinds of things. So I think that's a very powerful piece of advice. Okay, cool. So final couple of questions. So what's the best advice you have ever received as a visual storyteller?
It has like lots of advices, but like the best advices comes when you have life experience, I guess. Like it was my friend that always say, oh, when you feel that the time is not your time, the place is not the place that you should be, or I don't know, the people are not the people around you, leave that space. And leave that space and just go find the people or like environment that you are comfortable with. So I started to think that the big moment of my life was not the moment that I get national award or something like that. That never changed my destiny. The time that I was devastated, I thought that nothing would be changed. I have no other option. What I did after, that makes my destiny. Not the other things, not the success. Exactly the time that I didn't give up and I was like, but I will do it even if I'm going to change the whole my identity. I will do it. Maybe if I didn't do that, I was not sitting here and talking with you. I was like married, I have 4 children, like I don't know, but I know that was the moment that changed everything, rather than leaving the space and just find. So this is very cool to say, but in practice, the reality is more powerful than theory.
Yeah. And actually realizing things, right? Actually making them happen. Final question for you, Elle, I'm sad to say. What's the documentary or film you think students should watch right now, and why?
Oh, there is so many good documentaries. But because I'm doing post-production more here, and we watched together with the students the documentary that I'm talking about. But Searching for Sugar Man.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm doing post-production more here, I think in terms of storytelling, and it takes 2 years to get it done in post-production. The thing is the way that they tell the story and the way they moved you from beginning till end and surprised you in the middle and then makes you to be happy about the person you never met. I think it was a very powerful and successful post-production in terms of documentary. I know that we have more, like for Sama, it's about war. It's about like how that works. I know that there is so many documentaries that, but in my point of view, when you look at the Searching for like Sugar Man, you will see everything. You will see politics. You will see how that works. They never say like this institution were robbed. They never said that, but they will show you that what was happening in reality. And then as an audience, you get the idea. Oh, so that was happened. And then that documentary bring one person to life and give the dignity that he always searched for. Because of that documentary. And I think it's a very beautiful one.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful, wonderful recommendation. A stunning, stunning film. Elle, that is the end of our time together for the podcast.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, for telling your story on the podcast, for really bringing to light the possibility of documentary and filmmaking as artivism, as being impactful. That's something that the school is really committed to. So we love to hear that from you. We look to hear and see more from you in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for tolerating.
Wonderful, passionate, wonderful words. So that's the end of the podcast. Thank you very much, and see you all soon.